Hi, welcome back to Let's Get Lit. In today's video, we're going to go over the final section of Joseph Conrads' Heart of Darkness. So, continue on with me as we go through pages 80 through 92. All right, you ready to see how the story wraps up? Let's go. We are back for the fifth and final installment of Heart of Darkness. This installment starts off the next day as they're making their way back up the river. Marlowe talks about how when they left the station, he could see all the tribesmen and women standing around the edge of the water, all of them acknowledging and crying out as they were starting their journey. Marlowe looks to Kurtz and sees that he is looking out at the people on shore. Marlowe sees all the people chanting off the shoreline, and the pilgrims get their guns ready as if to fire. Marlowe, however, grabs the string and blows the horn, to which all the people on the shore dissolve back into the forests. Marlowe then talks about the journey and how they've made their way up the river. After a short time, they had to stop due to leaks in the boat that Marlowe expected. This is when Kurt starts to wane even further in health. At one point, while Marlowe is talking to Kurtz hands him a bunch of photographs and letters bound by shoestring and tells him to keep them safe from the manager. He believes that the manager will go through all of his things and take everything for himself. Marlowe, with the help of others, gets the boat back into shape and they continue with their journey. It is only a few nights later that during dinner, the manager's assistant comes in and lets them know that Kurtz has died. All of the pilgrims rush to see him, but Marlowe stays at the dinner table. He also mentions that the next day, while they stop, the pilgrims bury him in a hole along the river. Marlowe was worried that they were going to kill him as well, but states that didn't happen. Marlowe says that they were able to make the rest of the journey back to civilization. He also talks about how after the journey, he goes back to society but feels he's never quite the same. This trip left him meaner, colder, and he also felt that he had no connection to society that he was in. He also states that not long after the company itself demanded an interview with him to try and gather all the letters that Kurtz had given him. This comes to no surprise to Marlowe, because him and the manager had quite a few fights on the trip back up to society. Marlowe tells the company that he indeed does have the 17-page pamphlet that Kurtz wrote, and he offered it to the company. But after the man in charge of the interview reads the pamphlet, he hands it back to him and states that he desires the other letters for scientific purposes, to which Marlowe refuses to give them to him. The company states they would take legal action against him, but Marlowe doesn't care and he never hears from him again. A few days later, someone claiming to be Kurtz's cousin asks for an interview with Marlowe. At this meeting, the cousin really can't tell Marlowe what exactly Kurtz's profession was, but that he was a great speaker, to which Marlowe agrees he believes that Kurtz was a well-spoken man. The cousin asks if he may see some of the letters, and Kurtz lets him have them. Marlowe produces the pamphlet, to which the cousin is greatly appreciative. He thumbs through it and asks if he may keep it, to which he does. Soon after this, Marlowe decides that he is going to find the woman in the photograph and give her all of the letters that Kurtz had given to him. He ends up finding the woman and goes to her house. He knocks on the door, and the time is just at twilight, so he goes inside and he sits down in the large drawing room with large windows. He can see her coming out after a short time, and she's dressed in all black, mourning the loss of her lover. They soon talk about Kurtz and his life and how he was such a great man. Marlowe can see that she is in true mourning and that she truly did love him. Marlowe notes that she is a true widow. As they are talking, his mind wanders and begins to think back on Marlowe and how great of a man he truly was. Soon after a little while of talking, Marlowe gets up to leave, but before he can, this woman asks him what Kurtz's last words were. Inside Marlowe's head, he knows the words to be the horror, but what he tells her is the last few words Kurtz had said was her name. The reason he knew Kurtz's last words is because he had spoke with Kurtz a few hours before he had passed, and those were the last words he had said. At first, Marlowe does not believe that she believes him, but soon he can tell that she does. After this, the narrator states that Marlowe stopped talking and remained in his meditating pose. The narrator notes that as they are traveling down the river, it is an overcast and cloudy day, and that in the distance they could see large black clouds in the sky, which seemed to lead into the heart of the immense darkness. That concludes Joseph Conrads' Heart of Darkness. Tune in for the next video where I discuss the story in and of itself, and why I think it's important, and why certain establishments teach it. I'll also be doing a review of the film from 1993. Have a great day, and as always, stay lit.